Hi, everybody. I'm Emily Probst with Modern Machine Shop, and today we're going to look at the Metalworking Business Index. I'm here with Michael Gukas from Gardner Intelligence. So, good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Emily.
All right. If you are a reader of Modern Machine Shop, you are already familiar with the Gardner Business Index for metalworking. You can find it every month on the last page of our magazine, and it offers valuable insight into why our industry is expanding or contracting. This month, the reading came in at 34.4. Michael, can you give our viewers a little explanation as to what is happening here and the trends you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely, Emily. So you can look at a number like this, and obviously it was not a good number. But I don't want our readers to think that it is a measure of how much the industry has contracted. The way that we look at the business index is as a diffusion index. We're asking participants in the survey, did business conditions accelerate, decline, or stay the same? And so what we're looking at is a proportion. What are the proportion of survey respondents that said business conditions either increased, decreased, or stayed the same? In this case here, a number of 34.4 tells us that a lot of survey participants told us that business conditions contracted or stayed the same. It doesn't tell us about the magnitude of the change. So I don't want your readers to look at this and think that all of a sudden the market is falling by 50%. This is merely telling us that a large proportion of readers are simply seeing some amount of contraction in business activity.
All right. So what exactly are you looking for in the data, Michael?
Great question, Emily. So we have several different components to the index. Let me show you these 6 that constitute the index. You can see that most of them, new orders, production, backlog, exports, employment, those 5 all reported a sharp decline or contraction in business activity. The one that continues to accelerate is actually supplier deliveries, but that is a matter of how that question is asked. In the survey, we ask readers, did supplier deliveries lengthen, shorten, or stay the same? Now, if we saw a strong economy taking place, we would see upstream manufacturers experiencing their own backlog issues. They would not be able to produce product at the levels being demanded in the moment. And so that would cause a lengthening of supplier deliveries. We try to track that kind of change by how we ask that question differently, therefore. What we're seeing, though, right now is that COVID-19 has simply disrupted supply chains very significantly. And so that is what is causing those slowing supplier deliveries. It's not because we see increasing backlogs upstream. And so it's very important for your readers to understand why is it that the supplier deliveries number continues to move higher in this current situation. When we look at our different end markets, there are significant to the metalworking space, things like automotive and oil and gas, and also aerospace. What we're seeing right now is a sharp decline in demand for all of those resources. We've seen oil prices touch multi-year lows. We have seen passenger traffic on airlines reach multi-decade lows. We're seeing by some measures, the number of flights is down by 70+% in the US market. And so we won't see a return to more normal levels, we believe, until there's a turnaround here. Lastly, when we look at the automotive data that just came out a few days ago, looking at April's results, we saw industrial production in the automotive space fell by over 90%, in part because of the shutdowns being imposed on manufacturing facilities across the country.
All right, so there has been a lot of disruption going on, obviously. Given all these changes that have been happening in the industry and to the end markets, what's that doing to capital spending expectations for the next 12 months?
Well, Emily, great question. If we look at what the bottom dollar result has been, we can see here, for example, material prices, that index reading is a little above 50, while at the same time prices received has fallen below 50. And what that's telling us is that there's margin compression here. Manufacturers are receiving less for their goods sold, while at the same time they continue to see either no change in material prices or a slight increase. in their material prices. And so that margin compression, I believe, has really impacted those capital spending expectations, along with the obvious decrease in demand that we just spoke about in all the important end markets that the metalworking industry serves. So if we look at capital spending expectations, they're down right around 30% at this point compared to where they were, say about a year ago. This is a 3-month rate of change. So over the last 3 months, how does that compare to the same 3 months a year ago? This 25 to 30% change that we're seeing, it's really across the board. It doesn't matter which end markets you're serving, how large your manufacturing shop is. Now, the other thing that we should point out, though, is that this 25 to 30% decrease at this point, it's actually quite in line with past declines. So those spending expectations aren't drastically different from what we've seen in other cyclical bottoms.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks, Michael, for talking with me today, but also thank you so much to our subscribers who are taking the time to fill out the survey. Bottom line, guys, is the more responses we get on this survey, the better our data is. And the better our data is, the better information we can provide for you to help you make better quality, data-driven decisions for your business. For more information, you can visit mmsonline.com or gardnerintelligence.com. Stay safe and stay healthy.